How much do you pay for rent in New York?
$17.50.
Could I have a tour of your apartment?
Welcome to my 80 square foot apartment.
Like I almost laid down the entire apartment. And then there's the shower. The shower's actually
This is the
decent
shower.
size. Wait, where's your bed?
It's a basket of bedding.
Whoa. No way.
Love that bed. Well, New York City is considering a price increase for rent-stabilized apartments. And as we're all looking at the cost of inflation and housing, one TikTok host, Caleb Simpson, has really struck a nerve. His deal, asking strangers how much they pay in rent and then bringing his followers on a tour of those strangers' apartments. Caleb has gained more than 7 million followers on TikTok.
That's right. In 7 months, in fact. So folks love what Caleb is doing, and he's here with us now. Caleb, you also have more than 2 million people following what you do on YouTube. And this is fascinating, not only because of what people pay and how they make use of their space, but because people trust you to come into their homes and look around and post it online. Talk to us about where this idea started and what you've seen.
Yeah, totally. So the idea kind of started, I saw a street interview on YouTube, and the guy was asking someone like, how much do you pay for rent in New York? And can I see, or what's the most expensive thing in your home? And I thought, like, what if I asked to go inside the home? That's kind of ridiculous. And then on top of that, when I went in someone's home, I was like, what's the craziest thing I could do in here? I was like, if I hop in their bed, stranger's bed, that's pretty wild. I think people would like that on the internet, you know?
Click, share, like.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just amazed that people are letting you, or first of all, being honest with you about what they're paying in rent, which feels like a really private thing, and then inviting you into their homes. Do you get a lot of people who say, clearly you get a lot of people who say yes, but do you also get a lot of people who say no?
Yeah, I would say most people are on the no side of things. I mean, obviously it makes sense because their art hasn't been hung yet. That's the main excuse, which is kind of funny. You know, I'm doing God's work out here, getting art on the walls.
Right. But you are exposing or providing insight into how much people pay and how much they struggle, and rent prices here are jumping higher. What have you just noticed from being in so many people's homes and getting a sense, like, do their rent rates surprise you, or what are kind of some of the things that jump out to you?
Yeah, I mean, because the series is about 7 months old, it is kind of like going through this period of time where rent rose, you know? So it was interesting exploring Manhattan and hearing people say, like, my rent went up by $1,200. Or versus going to Brooklyn or Queens where they're like, my rent went up by like 30 or 40 bucks. So seeing all that, and then just how people organize themselves, whether they have roommates or flex walls, so whatever they're doing to make it work is interesting to observe. And I think being able to share this information, just like how a normal person lives in big cities, has really, like, you know, dropped a vanity wall.
Yeah. What advice would you give people then who are renting and figuring out how to make the most of their space and money?
Oh, wow. You get some roommates, you know, and live. If you're moving to a big city, like maybe move outside of the city. But I mean, when you move to New York, you just got to get here first and like figure it out, you know.
And you're using your platform also to raise awareness about how expensive rent is. And as we're talking right now about the timeliness of potential rent increases here in New York, what do you have to say?
What do I have to say?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope the rent stays low, but what I always say is that, like, New York City's always been expensive, you know, and I don't think that's ever going to change. It's just something we do here and we've always accepted. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Tough times for lots of people, but made a bit more interesting. And like you said, dropping that wall of vanity. Caleb Simpson, thank you.
Thanks,
Totally.
Caleb.
Thanks, guys.